as much as I try and avoid it. Whenever I make these videos, I so often find myself repeating the same sort of slightly cliched, slightly tired tropes over and over again. Things like one day at a time and we can't win because we can't stop. And it turns out that this sort of cliched advice is not exclusive to this gambling recovery community that we've got here on YouTube. As some of you guys might know, particularly if you've been watching the channel for a little while, I've recently tried to get back into my fitness. I've been going to the gym more regularly, been watching what I eat, and generally just trying to get a bit more exercise and a little bit of a better diet into my life. It turns out, having watched a number of fitness and health and gym related videos here on YouTube, that the gym community and the health and fitness community has also got this wealth of tired and repeated cliches that they like to sort of put in every available opportunity. There was, however, one slogan, one cliche that I heard which actually rang really true with me, and it's something that I thought could not only be applied to the world of health and fitness and gym and all of that sort of good stuff, but actually be applied to gambling recovery. And I think actually it's something that is very fundamental and can possibly help lay the foundations of a successful recovery. One of the things in gambling recovery is to take the right steps, but it's most important that we take the right steps at the right time and in the right order. And that, in essence, is what I want to talk about today. Now, as always, and I'll keep this bit brief, just want to say hi, hope you're keeping safe, hope you're keeping sane. Thanks for everyone's support. Like, subscribe, comment, Patreon link in the description below. New videos coming there, exclusive to Patreon, probably as of next week. And that is the extent of my self-promotion for this video, hopefully. Anyway, let's talk about this expression that I heard in the fitness community, which I think can be easily translated to gambling recovery. They say in the fitness community that you can't out-train a bad diet. Now, the basis of this is obvious. If you have a terrible diet, if you eat nothing but snacks and cakes and, doner kebabs and pizza, and you drink nothing but full-fat Coke and lager and all this really quite tasty stuff, right? It doesn't matter how much time you spend in the gym, how much time you spend on the treadmill, how much time you spend out running up and down the road, right? If your diet is appalling, if you're consuming an absolute ton of calories every day, then increasing your exercise is merely going to slightly reduce the rate at which you put on weight. It's going to only slightly reduce the damage you're doing to your body through this excess consumption of fat, calories and other bad, but yet very tasty stuff. If we take this idea of not being able to out-train a bad diet, and we then put it on to gambling recovery and gambling addiction, what I would say, and I don't know if someone's coined this phrase before, but I'm going to be the first one, I'd like to lay claim to it, you cannot outwork a gambling addiction. Now, this is not to say that you should not take responsibility for your own situation, that you should, just give up entirely and just, live off the state, right? However, there is no point, as far as I'm concerned, in pushing yourself day after day after day to try and increase your income, to earn more, to get more money coming in, whilst you haven't addressed the underlying problem of your gambling addiction. It doesn't matter how hard you work, how much money you earn, how many jobs you have, how many side hustles you start, how many loans you take out, which technically isn't income, but it's still a way of getting money, isn't it, as we all know. Doesn't matter how hard you work, right? You could work 20 hours a day and have all this money flying in. But whilst you still have the gambling addiction, all it will mean is that you spend more time gambling, or possibly you will just increase your stakes, increase your bets, and increase the level to which you are gambling. It's very, very important once you get into a lasting recovery to maybe take stock of your financial situation, to look at your debt, to look at your income and expenditure and work out how you can start to pay down what is most likely going to be a reasonable level of gambling debt. Now, if you're not in debt at the moment, that's fantastic, and I'm very glad you found this channel. I'm very glad that you're looking, maybe not for me, but beyond me, for some sort of help with your gambling addiction and for getting into recovery, because not having that debt, not having that weight around your neck to start with, means that yes, you may have lost a lot of money up to now, yes, you may be licking your wounds from what else you could have spent that money on. But when you get into recovery, you have quite a steady platform from which to build your financial future. For the majority of people who are coming and watching these videos and seeking advice from elsewhere, we will have already established a fair to high level of gambling debt, be in whatever form that is. All right. So part of us is so inclined to think, well, I'll get a second job. You know, I'm having financial issues because of my gambling. I'll get a second job, or I'll start a side hustle. I'll start buying and selling stuff on eBay, or, you know, maybe you're tempted by doing things which are maybe just the other side of the line of the law, or maybe quite a long way the other side of the line of the law. And I'm here to tell you that's great. Not the illegal stuff, of course, but the idea of wanting to improve your income to help redress your financial situation. However, as I said at the start of this video, it's incredibly important to do these things in order. There is no point going out and busting your ass, for want of a better expression, working night and day and getting 3 jobs and side hustles and doing this, that and the other and selling the family silver and, you know, going on eBay and selling everything you own to get all this money in when you haven't addressed the underlying issue, which is, of course, the gambling problem. Because as far as you've got money coming in, if the gambling problem is still there, all you are doing is pouring fuel on the fire. All you are doing is enabling and further perpetuating, dare I say, your addiction. Instead of solving the problem you found yourself with, which is a financial problem, all you will be doing is actually making it worse. Even if you don't end up taking on any more debt, you are feeding the addiction, and you will find yourself gambling more frequently at a higher level, and then you'll eventually, once all this extra income come in and gone out again, you will find yourself borrowing or scrounging or, dare I say, stealing at a higher level in order to feed this increased level of addiction. So yes, it's very, very important to take personal financial responsibility for your life. It will be, in time, very, very beneficial to see how much money you can get in from legitimate sources in order to help redress the financial damage done by your gambling addiction. But it's all painfully futile whilst you're still gambling. In the same way that if you're consuming 10,000 calories a day, going to the gym and busting your ass to burn off 1,000 calories is irrelevant. All you're going to do, at the very best, is slow down the rate of damage you're doing to your body. Slow down the rate at which you are gaining weight, you are gaining fat. If you go out and you work your ass off and you bust a gut and you do 14, 16-hour days, side hustles, the whole lot, okay, in order to try and better your financial situation before you address the underlying cause, which is your gambling addiction, then at the very best, all you will be doing is slowing down the rate at which you accumulate gambling debt. But like I say, more likely what you will be doing is actually exacerbating your gambling addiction, because you now have the means by which to gamble more frequently and at a higher level. And as we know, it's very much a self-perpetuating addiction. We all start with the small bets. We all start with gambling what we can afford to lose, which is a horrible expression for reasons I've explained in the past. But if we suddenly, as gambling addicts, find all this money coming in, which we've earned through hard work and with the good intention of getting ourselves back on track and sorting our lives out, so to speak, right? We're not doing this, with any ill intent. We're doing this with the best of intentions at heart. But whilst we continue to do this, all we were doing is perpetuating the addiction and getting further and further away from recovery. Okay, I'm not suggesting you go and bin your job off, right? But don't work your ass off, put yourself in a worse physical and mental state whilst you haven't addressed the underlying problem, which is the gambling addiction. And hopefully, amongst other sources and resources, some of which are in the description below, watching these videos has helped in some small way to help you get into a recovery, and hopefully that recovery can last, and eventually you will find yourself in a position where, yes, additional money coming in will help you build a better future for you and for those close to you. I will tag on to the end of this video something very important, which is something I talk about most months, and that is that tomorrow, as I record this video, which is Friday the 30th, I believe, is payday for a substantial number of people. It's the last working day of the month, it's the last Friday of the month, and it's going to be a payday for an awful lot of monthly paid people. I say this every month, whenever I remember, right? Don't do this payday what we've all done many, many paydays in the past. Don't ruin the next month before it's barely even started, okay? Don't go out on Friday night, go to the bookies, go to the pub, play the fruit machine. Don't go home after a few pints down the local and get online and start playing at the online casino, or don't go down the bookies and start betting on the Albanian 3rd division. Let's face it, the football season's closed at the moment, so there's not a lot going on, okay? Do something now to prevent you from doing that harm tomorrow, or whenever it is you get paid. It might not be tomorrow, and you might not be watching this video when it comes out, you know. But for whenever you get paid, put something in place, be that handing over your finances, moving it to a non-instant access account. Just do something, all right, so that when you wake up the day after payday, you haven't got that same sinking, punched in the stomach feeling that, yes, I've done it again, and here comes another month of scrimping and saving and trying to pay bills that I haven't got the money for. All right, because we've all been there, we've all done that, and it's no fun at all, is it? Until next time, stay safe, stay sane, like, share, subscribe, Patreon link in the description below for some unique content, probably starting next week. And yeah, if I don't speak to you before, have a great weekend. Take care, everyone.